Hello there, a very warm welcome to the program. My name is Yusuf Rabu Usman. The program is Reflections. We're reaching you from the Nigerian Television Authority. On this program, we, as much as possible, try to look into the Nigerian society and then fish out the big ones among us, our fathers, our grandfathers, if possible. And of course, those who have touched our lives for quite a long time and have been part of history in Nigeria. Tonight, we shall be talking to somebody I refer to the silent one, if he permits.
That's right.
He's a psychologist. He's an academic, of course, because he was a lecturer too. And he's a philanthropist of great note, if you really would take that. And of course, he is somebody who has seen it all for over 50 years in Nigeria, over 60 years in Nigeria, because he's around 85 years old. My personality this week is Dr. Paul Unongo, the one Tarek. Would I say just one Tarek? How would I put it?
Just one Tarek Paul Unongo.
One Tarek Paul Unongo.
Yes, and if it is difficult, say just Paul Unongo.
Paul Unongo.
That's
but
it.
That name, I like it because given the definition you gave,
Yes.
it's very important. One
Yes.
Tarek Paul Unongo.
One Tarek Paul Unongo.
Let's start from there.
All right.
One Tarek Paul Unongo. What is that one Tarek? A lot of people will want to know because people just know you as Paul Unongo.
Yes. Well, I returned to the country as Paul Unongo. That is the name my mother and father gave to me.
You returned from where?
When I returned from school,
Mm-hmm.
I went to school in the white man's country. And then I got involved in dramatic activities. And then I became involved in the struggles of Nigeria and the struggles of my people. And ordinary people noted that I spent more time with them. I seemed more concerned about their problems, and I spent a lot of time with them attempting to solve their problems. So they were a bit confused because academicians and educated Nigerians generally tend to be aloof and tend to, especially if they go into politics, they use people for politics and then they stay aloof if they are participating. But here was somebody that was down to earth. I went to all their funerals, and if they had a problem, I went and helped them. And if I didn't have, they knew I didn't have. If I have, they knew I had. What I had belonged to everybody. So they said, no, this is our own. So they called me son of the soil.
Okay.
That I am their child. I share everything I have with them. Incidentally, that is what stood me out. So they decided that they heard that the Tortiv and other people wanted to give me traditional titles, and I refused. I said, yes, I don't want a traditional title because I don't want to be referred to as a big man. I don't want to be chief. I just want to be Mr. Paul Unongo. So they said, okay, you are like us, we who are just ordinary people. So they called me son of the soil. And I appreciate this title because it was given to me by simple, ordinary, non-powerful people, because they appreciated me. And I value it, and I said I must earn it. And I've lived exactly like what I've told you all my life. It may have cost me so many things, but I'm down there with them up till today. And when I die, they will bury me.
Sure, for sure.
Yes.
Really. You've broken the silence now. You've now talked. I've heard you talk because it's quite some time I didn't hear you talk, not to the media at least. That's why I said I introduced you as the silent one for quite some time. Why did you keep silent all this while?
Many reasons. I'm a reflective person. And if you look through my CV in public life, I wasn't too involved in public things. I prefer working with people behind the scene. I suppose part of my training, I was more research-oriented, but at the time I went into experimental psychology, and I specialized in human experimental psychopathology. I had certain type of knowledge that was not quite used in my country until during the war, when Gawan sent Dr. Adetoro to go and recruit me that I should come and help Nigeria with their psychological warfare, because General Ojukwu of the Biafran Army was winning the war of propaganda.
Right.
So they felt that maybe with my training I would turn the tide. I looked at it. I had been in touch with both Ojukwu and all the military leadership when they unfortunately came into power, and I told them it was unfortunate, and I said they would have to play a very unfortunate role. I was quite sure I could predict war eventually, so I wrote them, but it didn't work. So when war broke out, I was a federalist to the core. So when General Gawan invited me and actually sent a minister, they used to call them federal commissioners.
Right.
I think Adetoro was federal commissioner for education.
Where were you when he
I was in
sent
Canada,
Canada,
in Edmonton,
studying
experimental human psychopathology.
Right.
So Adetoro told him the story about me, a Nigerian that was very patriotic. I think they had difficulties in getting somebody to put their psychological warfare together on a humane basis, because Gawan was a tremendous gift from God to Nigeria at a particular time in that historical epoch.
Okay.
And he wanted war, because no soldier does not want war if it is, they all say it is imposed on me. But he didn't want to fight a war of destruction. He wanted a war, if brothers must fight war, and they should fight a war that they will go back to becoming brothers in the shortest time possible. And he wanted to know how that could be organized and how rehabilitation could be organized. And I had the privilege to put the theoretical background for a humane warfare. And Gawan gave me an opportunity to talk to him. People in power don't very often listen to men of ideas, but he gave me a lot of time, and he listened to me, and I think we are the better off for it. So what happened, I then became embedded in the intelligence wing with a very fantastic gentleman, MD Yusuf. He was the commissioner for, we didn't have intelligence then. They called him commissioner for E department. Okay. And I was with him in the E department embedded, which means I also took overseas assignments, and I took war front assignments, and I provided the apologia, the theoretical basis for a humane warfare. People say you can't fight a humane warfare. You can. If you are forced to fight your brother and your sister or your mother, people you went to school with them, you can. You can, and Gawan proved it. It could be done. And I was quite satisfied being behind and providing the theoretical basis. I said, in theory, if it is done this way, it will work. And I thank God. And I'm grateful I ran into a fantastic human being, a gentleman like Gawan.
You've been mentioning this fantasy or fantasticism of Gawan, the
Yes.
greatness of Gawan. the gift he was or he is still to Nigeria at that time.
Yeah,
I mean, what is it that makes you? I mean, that gave him that that honor in you.
I don't know, but I think, if I'm to speculate, he had attributes that I identified with Northerners. I come from northern Nigeria. He was humble.
Right.
And he was genuine.
Okay.
And he was not exploitative. And Gawan was not looking for wealth, which is a terrible thing that has destroyed Nigeria now. Gawan was not money. There was no money in those days. There was nobody. He even was begging, saying, I have so much money, I don't know how to spend. So he loved human beings. And then he was true to his religion.
Okay.
There are very good Muslims and there are very good Christians. And I see some funny Christians and I see some funny Muslims too. But Gawan was one of those rare birds that, and he was very witty. God gave him in abundance this humor. He was very humorous, which shows that he was an intellectual. Another thing that Gawan did, which was I was so happy. I said, sir, you know, are you proud that we defeated ourselves? We told Biafra we are fighting you to stop you from going away from Nigeria. If we start celebrating and jumping up and saying we have defeated them, that will contradict the war we're fighting for reconciliation. So if you can, don't allow people to jubilate. We should jubilate that we're not shooting at each other again.
Okay.
But we should be a lot of empathy and a lot of regrets and expression of, I am sorry, this we had to do, because I believe in Nigeria. And I didn't support the war, but once we had the war, I was not going to allow my country to be broken up because I know the consequences of breaking up a large country like Nigeria on the continent of the African continent. Nigeria had to be together. And we had dreams about Nigeria.
Now, before we get down to the dreams,
yes,
let's look at the lessons in this war. Today,
yes,
is about 50 years ago that this war came to an end. When you were just talking about there's no jubilation, the war is over, it's a problem between brothers, and it's all over now. We're back home. We wanted to really split the home, split the house, but now the home is solid again. It's one Nigeria. That is when the no victor, no vanquish came into the
correct. And we were responsible for that policy.
Was it the reason for that coinage?
Yes. It was, we saw the future.
Right.
Gawan was blessed with genuine people and radical people that could see the future. And he allowed them to express the future. And then he had good, humble commissioners like himself that were brilliant people like the Adetoros. And he listened to people. There's so much talent in this country. The amount of ingenuity and genius that was shown in the Nigerian war, I regret that we didn't go with the speed of the war to develop the country in Nigeria. What the Biafrans did was an impossible thing. What the federal troops did in the jungle, in the marsh, how they could construct bridges across large expanses of water. It's the genius that is Nigeria's. I don't know why it has not been released up till today.
Oh, well, I don't know. You are around 85 years old, and then you've seen all these things. what would not be, there wouldn't be any other person more suitable to tell us where the missing link is than people like you, because you saw it practical, you saw it, develop, you saw it die, in quotes, and you saw it metamorphose into something else. And here we are today, looking at those years with glory, and looking at today with some sort of pessimism and negativity about what really happened. What is that?
Well, this country, I was not lucky to meet the Macaulays, the Herbert Macaulays, but I was very lucky. My father carried me to a meeting. I saw Ziki Mboko in 1946 when I was about 8 years old or thereabout. Then I had the privilege to grow up and serve a great man that I felt was one of the greatest African political leaders, the Right Honorable Dr. Nnamdi Azikiwe. And I was proud to even try to, like a youth, I wanted to idealize him to the level of even writing about him like Karl Marx and so on. And there were Nigerians like that. There was Obafemi Awolowo, the man of education, the free education man that saw tomorrow, that tomorrow was based on education. And what was hindering education, he saw it. Poverty. He attacked poverty. He looked for free education. He was right. And the Yoruba race that constitute most of what is the West today, or what became the Western region, they owe it a lot. They are a very advanced people because of our law, because of free education. There was somebody in the north, the Sardana of Sokoto, passionate, a prince that forgot about his princely nature. He said, my people, they are not educated. I will make haste slowly, but I must also insist that my people will be part of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. And there were discouragements to him. Don't go. Those people are too developed. Those people are too advanced. He said, no. This is what I always told my friends from the South, that I thought the most radical people are from the North. The real, true radicals. Sardana was a radical. For him to have agreed, even when they were laughing at him in Lagos, because he didn't agree to say, I want independence now, in 1956. He said, no, my people, there are too many of them, and they don't understand what you're talking about. But I will teach them. And I'm going to teach them by appointing them to responsible positions, whether they have this Western education or not. If they have grade 2 teacher, let them come and be premiers, let them come and be permanent secretaries, let them learn on the job. That man sent all of us to school.
Right.
And we didn't pay school fees. The problem of our country, we learned too much about what we thought is the importance of material wealth. And we lost the boat.
When did we lose the boat?
I
I'm just
think
trying to see the connection.
The
Why
connection,
the link,
the connection was this.
Yeah.
I've said this, and some of my colleagues have argued with me. But I asked them to give me a chance so we can sit and discuss. I think the brutal, I describe as brutal, interregnum in the political process by the military produce a completely different type of country, a completely different type of politics, and the idealization and the worship of wealth and money then cemented the death of a true humanistic Nigeria.
Okay. Okay.
And I think even the style of politics change with the military interregnum in the political process. The military have a different type of chain of command. And we, the political leadership of this country, we who came through the Awolowo Wars, we who came through the Azikwes, we who came through the Aminu Kanos, the Saldanas, we had people we wanted to emulate. But the military came and shattered all that and did everything possible to stop us from looking at these people as role models that we should emulate. And they gave us nothing. They gave us guns. They gave us arbitrariness. They gave us the role of big money.
Okay. So we'll now take a break, and then when we come back, we move on and then see how these things really boil into the issue we're talking about.
Thank you.
You are watching Reflections on the Nigerian Television Authority, and I'm Yusuf Nadab Usman. Welcome back.
Yes, thank you.
So, I wanted us to see where we lost the track, and then where we really lost the link, and then where we really missed the road. But that will be in a very brief sense because I have a lot of issues to discuss.
Okay. Well, then let me say I have been blamed by some of my military friends. But the military has no business being in politics. If they took the colonial teaching, if they came into politics, it should have been to enhance it. It shouldn't be to stay forever. And when they came, I told them they were never going to get out. And they got angrier and angrier by now toppling military administrations. So, and the young men that were growing up by this time were becoming men. The leaders, the political leaders were being disgraced, jailed left and right, and being told that they were thieves when they were not. Because the military wanted to disgrace them so that they would take over political leadership. That is what destroyed Nigeria. If they came quick as an interregnum in the political process to correct a wrong, and they went out, Nigerian politics was congealing into a two political party system, left on its own.
Since when? Since when was that? When do you think that would have?
It would have come.
Yeah.
It would have come if they didn't interfere on the 15th of January 1966 and interfered in the manner they did, that brutalized everything, that made people feel this is a political arrangement to eliminate people, and then counter coups followed and so on. And then they had to fight a war, and after the war they said, well, civilians don't know how to govern. We must teach them how to govern. Everybody came with their own interim government. We will teach them. What can military people teach politicians in government? Nothing. What they taught us, unfortunately, they taught us military politics, and they taught, which is arbitrariness. They also taught us, the Nigerian public, monetary politics. Then they favored certain people that they empowered arbitrarily, and they became deceived that they were leaders, and they were imposed on us. And they started writing constitutions for us. They would call people like me to come and draft constitutions, and we'll draft, and then they will impose what they want. And then the constitutions they will promulgate, they will topple that.
That same constitution.
I mean, it was too much. So, arbitrariness came into Nigerian political system, and people did not start attaching honor, because the military started showing us that the military also was far more corrupt than the civilians they were saying that were corrupt. They were coming to clean corruptions. And then they arbitrarily would just amass wealth, and they would make somebody rich that they wanted to hand over to. And then civilians learned this very quickly. So Nigerian politics was, it became monetized. It became militarized. So that people didn't think it was necessary to try and convince people. And that has gone to the level where we are today. So that the value of a person is not in his honor. During our time, during the Awolowo's time, during the J.S. Taka's time, the Sardana's time, and we, their boys, we showed our card. We showed our bravery. We showed your bravery was a thing to be admired. How many imprisonment have you received from the arbitrary British? Or how many imprisonment did the military put you through? I was detained and jailed 34 times.
34 times?
34 times. And in fact, ended up with a wonderful charge of also being involved in a coup too. That because a thief man that I didn't even know announced a coup, so they came and picked me up, that I was the leader of the coup. And I'm sure somebody must have gone and said, this is a troublesome boy that has been worrying us, let's go and kill him. So there was too much arbitrariness. And that arbitrariness has been left in the political system. There was too much emphasis on money. And that emphasis, the politicians have now perfected it. The military substituted military politicians, because they're not real politicians. And the thing is so terrible that some of us don't believe there are elections anymore. Look, General Buhari had no money. He stood president for how many years? I think about four times. He couldn't win. But everybody said, this is a great man. This is a nice person. This is an incorruptible person, and so on. He couldn't win. Can you win any election today? No. Elections are predetermined. That is the outcome of the military interregnum in the political process, their own idealizing arbitrariness and money politics.
You saw it, how Nigeria almost broke.
Yes.
You saw it, how you, in your own effort and your colleagues,
Yes.
mended it,
Yes.
reconciled, reformed,
Yes.
reconstituted it, and then have it moving as one united Nigeria. It
Three
shouldn't be.
things are at work here. We need to be just and truthful. They said politicians were not truthful. They were. They were men of honor. And they tried to solve their problems the best way they knew. And when they gave their word, when the Sardana gave his word to Zik at the London Constitutional Conference, gave his word to Awo that I will bring the North into independence too. And we are going to support Nigeria's independence on come 1st of October, 1960. The only thing I say is that my people are not ready yet. I can't take the self-government now. Whether you abuse me in Lagos or you do whatever, you're like, I cannot. My people are not ready yet. By 59, he said, yes, we are ready. And everything he told them, he delivered. This is what was politics. A politician was some, like what is in England today. It is a very noble profession. Is it noble today? You become governor today, as soon as you resign as governor, they throw you in jail. Those are the dynamics of the military interregnum. They taught us how to destroy ourselves so they can control us. So, that is the first thing. And it is still bothering this country.
Right.
Most of the young men that become governors today, they don't feel they belong to the people. And they are so powerful, they don't feel they need the people. And it's not their fault. Whoever sponsored them, if he likes, he can sponsor them again. And the people are so impoverished that the people that have money will always win.
Okay.
Again, that came from the military. So, the style of leadership, when your leader told you to do a thing, you did it to the best of your ability. When Shagari wanted to make me a minister, he called me into his office and called his vice president. He said, Kaida Munchi, jovial way of praying. I have something for you. You will notice that all the ministers have put portfolios on their name. I haven't, but I told you to come and be my minister. I said, yes. He said, I don't know why I feel this way. Nigeria for 19 years has been trying to deliver steel. And I don't know why for 19 years. We even gave Russia a lot of money, we gave these people, and we have not been able to produce it. But I know, if I appoint you to oversee that ministry, in addition to doing anything, but I'm telling you that is the major reason I want you to develop and deliver steel in the life of my administration. I answered him after I listened to them. I said, sir, do you have that much confidence in me? He said, yes. This was a politician now talking. I said, my master, if you trust me so much, so help me God. I don't know what this steel is. I am going to know it. And when I know it, I'm going to deliver it in the life of your administration. So that I can feel that the faith you have in me, I have kept it. And I did. And I delivered steel to Nigeria in six months' time. And when I didn't like what was going on, what was likely to be the thing, I sat down and wrote a 1,000-page handing over notes.
You handed over after 6 months, and then you...
After 6 months, I delivered steel.
You delivered and then you handed over.
I told him that I'm sorry, I cannot be a minister.
You resigned?
I resigned.
Why?
I said the reason that there were things that happened, and there were things that will continue to happen. And I predicted to him that if I allowed myself to be part of that kind of stuff, we would end up, in those days, $1 billion was something very big. I calculated, I told him that we will lose about $2 billion in exactly 2 years. So I wouldn't like to head that sort of thing.
Had
And
you
I told
stayed?
that. Now, then he said, well, but other people have said otherwise. I said, sir, call them to come and become ministers.
Well, that's great, really. In 6 months, had you stayed for the whole hog, 4 years of his administration, I think.
I would have done wonders because I was going to go into even upstream and downstream industries to show. You see, our people, they don't give themselves a chance. The power status of most nations of the world, check this out, is determined by the consumption of steel. And when you produce it, as we indigenously were producing it in Nigeria, there was nothing stopping us from being an industrial giant. So my dream was to make Nigeria an industrial giant and a powerful nation, manufacturing our own armaments, exporting them in a relatively short time.
Been in politics all the while, but you quit politics in 2003, thereabout.
Yes.
When you contested for the governorship and then you gave way. Between 1999 and now, about 20 years, there has been, successful, democratic transitions and governance all through in Nigeria. And we've been moving. And that's one thing you've been talking about. Had there been no military interregnum, Nigeria could have been in places now, not only where we are at the moment. And what we are feeling too could have been there because the military arbitrariness couldn't have been part of the politics. Why did you leave politics?
Elections have been monetized. Elections are arranged with money. You don't have money, you don't win. If you have money, you win. I don't know what is winning now. That's why I left politics. Because I know I'm popular. I know people like me. But how can I win elections and everybody knows I win? Then they announce somebody else. And he's allowed to go. And then I go a second time, I win again. Even the military said, when they're giving their reason for seizing power, said the sort of thing that happened in Benue, where Paul won the election and they went and announced somebody else. Has it been solved? No. It has become worse. So I felt I was wasting my time because I had something I felt I could contribute.
Right.
And why would I take money? Where will I get the money from? To go and whatever it is they do with the money so that I can be declared as the winner. The people voted for me. Everybody knew. And history has passed. Some of the people have come and confessed to me. They said, you are the one who won. And we were so panicky. We didn't know what he would do if he came. So, and somebody even confessed to me because we become friends. So I am the one who spoiled all the elections. He told me how he spoiled it. That the boss was so shaken, he couldn't do anything for 3 days. You won landslide. I said, but why did you refuse me to? Did you know what I had in my mind? I wasn't joking when I said, I'm not going to be a governor for jokes or for 2 terms. Why would I be a governor for 2 terms? What I want to do, I can do it in 4 years, is to set the standard and do it in such a way that people will be so happy that if I left, people will be tempted to try and imitate and emulate. And when you come and say you're going to change it, they will stone you. Everybody that comes into power with the military mind, and the politics in Nigeria has a military mind, they want their own. That's what's killing Nigeria. The person who challenged me most in politics, strangely enough, was Murtala. He talked to us, and I said, let me go and hear this military man that has toppled another military man that is wasting too much time. Because they had no business being in power. And Murtala selected 50 Nigerians. And they were supposed to be men of ideas. And among these 50, he threw in a small person, me. So I said, with Chief Abafemi Awolowo, Rotimi Williams, and all these people, 50. Murtala challenged us. He said, look, me, I'm not interested in power, political power. But I will stay here for you to do the correct thing. Give us a good constitution. Give us an indigenous constitution from your brains, a draft of it. Think about African systems. I brought you as men of ideas. And coin a modern thing. Then he speculated. It was quite intelligent. He said, I noticed in my little knowledge of African leadership organizations, the African wants a unified leader. It is the old man. Whatever he says, the children do it. If you can create a system that is like that, Nigeria will stabilize. I didn't believe him, but Benwa Boze was there, I was there, and Rotimi Williams was there. Chief Awolowo refused, declined to serve. So I put up my hand and I said, sir, if that is all you want a modernization of that kind of government and make it Nigerian. The American system that exists with modifications, we don't need to think out of our minds. It is there already. America created a system which is applicable to a multinational nation state. That is a nation made up of many, many different people. America is made of all kinds of stuff. And I think it's working for almost 230 years now. Let's look at it and write our own. We don't need to stay here for 2 years. And we produce a draft for him. And then tragedy struck. He was not there to implement what was his mind. Then, so there are also these natural tragedies in what I'm telling you about, slowing down, what could have followed. Then after Murtala, we just went on writing constitution. All of that I was there. And then at a particular stage, I said, I've never seen any country that has written so many constitutions in such a very short time. The British people who colonized us don't even have a written constitution, yet they govern. They've been governing themselves for about 3,000 years. So it is not the constitution that is wrong. If we were to talk from the point of view of that, the biggest problem in Nigeria is that we don't allow our institutions to stabilize so that we can apply the institutions to solve problems.
Okay. The Chief Jukun crisis has been there for years and years and years.
It's unfortunate.
Very unfortunate indeed. I don't know. I don't want us to talk about the cause. Can you provide solutions for us?
Yes. I don't know whether it was 69 or 70. I have a very close personal friend of mine, General Yakubu Danjuma. We are very, very close. And we are like brothers. When I saw these people fighting, and I tried everything, it wouldn't work. I went to his house at Ikoyi. I think it's the new year of either 69 or 70. I went to him and said, Yakubu, Which means, do you know what we will do to end all this nonsense? Our people are fighting. What are they fighting for? You. Who is your best friend in this world? It's me. Me. Who is my best friend in this world? You. Why would these Juku people be fighting T people?
And we are still friends.
And we are still friends? Look, Yakubu, let's go and tell these people. If they want to kill people, they should just, you and I should stand and put our hands in the air and tell them, shoot us and go. Go and rest, because this is how it is. It was simplistic. He said, Paul, well, we didn't do it. Okay. But politics of fear. Jukun people feel they will be swamped by T people. They want their own identity, and they should have their identity. It is for us now to show the Jukun people that, my God, you have your identity, and show it with love. And we intermarry. The current governor of Taraba State is a Jukun man, Yaku Danjuma's younger boy, which means he's my younger brother too, married to a Tiv woman. I think if we do this and we deliberately propagandize that we're one people, and perhaps one of my drastic suggestions that I made to General Sani Abacha when he was going to create state, I said, look, pack all Jukun people and pack all T people and put them in one state. When they're together in Benue province, they never used to fight. So if they want to be together, put them together, let them go there. They will not fight. They will learn to work. So I don't know, the solution must be to bring the T people and the Jukun people together.
Now let's look at another conflict area in your own state, Benue State. The farmer Hadar clash is one of them. The other one is the issue of communal clashes between communities, and what the military did recently, where a gang was killed, mastermind of a certain kind of negative activities, and then still that didn't solve the problem. What would be the solution in that area? Because here and there things come up in this regard.
You have touched on something that hurts me a lot. And it's the Tiv race. I am in love with my people to a level that I have sacrificed even comfort and whatever anybody can give to me. And at the same time, I do know intellectually that my mother's father is a Fulani man. So I am Fulani, I am Jukun, I am Tif, but I'm very much Tif. And that is why I have done everything in my life to tell the Tif people and to tell the Jukun people, to tell the Fulani people that we never had this type of thing before. What is happening? I even went all the way to the one of Herdsmen first. I went all the way to the Caliphate headquarters and saw the current Sultan, His Eminence. And I said, I've come to pay the debt of that cow, those cows that the T people chopped from you people.
I didn't pay.
And I paid him.
Yeah.
I even gave him Tiv cows. And I made a passionate appeal. I said, what do we get? Even in the politics of Nigeria, when the Tiv people collaborate with the Fulani people, it benefits the Fulani and the Tiv better, like what has happened in Tivland now. I am so sad that you say the Fulani people are the ones killing you. You are killing yourselves more than the Fulanis. And no Fulani man is killing you now. What happened to Senator Suswam's elder brother is a microcosm of a people begging to be exterminated from the face of the earth. How can you say, because you disagree with somebody, you send a prominent person like this, thief young men that you used in politics, you say that one is my enemy, go and kill him. You say your enemy is Fulani, who's going to believe you anymore? And because you killed Senator Suswam's brother, his own people now will organize. There was all kinds of killings going on in Todonga, and nobody is calling these people to order because they are afraid. I know why they are afraid.
Why are they afraid?
Because the young men are angry.
Angry of what?
They are angry on their political leadership. It's so-called politics. This is what the military taught us. You take young men, you put them to kill people, to break boxes, to declare you a winner, that you will pay them. You don't pay them. And then, when they turn around and start catching people on the road that they know have money to come and give them money, you go and arrest them. This is a social problem which can be tackled by talking, by doing what we had done to the Niger Delta. Let us talk. If nobody is calling you, I'm calling you. And I'm going to stand there. I'm not afraid. Let's talk. Let's reconcile. Let us, please, give peace a chance.
All right. On a final note,
Thank you.
you are a convener of the Northern Elders Forum.
Yes.
And of course, you have this northern thing so passionate in you, so strong, that you feel it's north or nothing else. It's northern Nigeria because you are a northerner in and out.
Yes.
Looking at what is happening in the north, how do you feel about it?
Very bad. These things, honestly, by my age, I feel sometimes some things are not good to discuss in the public. But it is important that the public should know that both my relationship with the Sultan, my relationship with the President, my relationship with anybody in Nigeria in authority is based on principles. The first principle is that Nigeria must live, Nigeria must survive, and Nigeria must be one country. We fought a war. We killed about 3 million, various figures are given. They say we killed 2 million, then they say we killed 3 million, some people even say 4. You cannot kill 4 million, 3 million, 2 million human beings and then go back and say that was a joke. That was not a joke. They didn't, and they shouldn't be made to die in vain. So I am totally committed to keeping Nigeria one, but a Nigeria that is just, a Nigeria that is fair, a Nigeria that I gave to my president when I could advise him.
We thank you so very much for being part of this program. It's our pleasure, really.
It was a pleasure.
And we wish you all the best life can offer. I've broken the silence, I must say. He has talked, and you've heard him talk, Dr. Paul Unongo. And then there's somebody who has been out of public domain for quite a while, but we're able to have it done today. There is great lessons to be learned in silence. And of course, the lessons are, silence has some quality, it has some dimensions. And today we've seen the quality, we've seen the dimension, and of course, we must really thank you once again, and thank you so much for breaking
Thank
the
you
silence.
thank you very kindly.
Great pleasure also goes to you out there for really, coming along with reflections from the Nigerian Intelligence Authority. I am Yusuf Darabos saying, stay safe, take responsibility. Coronavirus is real. See you next week.